There's a little bit of anxiety that comes with returning here, of having a headline that might read, paraglider pilot that survives accident, returns to place to have another one. I couldn't help but to look around at the fog and the clouds and think, this is so similar. Am I tempting fate? So I took off, had a nice, buttery, smooth launch. And we flew for about an hour. And then the winds were suddenly accelerating. And I saw myself going back behind this ridge, and my whole canopy got caught in what we call rotor. And it just balled up 80 to 100 feet up. And I began a free fall. I essentially, by some definitions, died.
I didn't know what his quality of life was going to be like, if he would have that joy in having adventures, being able to walk, being able to talk and think. We didn't think he would survive, and if he did survive, what state would he be in? I sat by his bed in ICU all day long. His hand closed over my fingers, and we knew that he was still fighting in there.
I landed with my right foot first, which provided enough energy to drive my femur into the pelvic ring until it snapped the pelvis off of the spine and was pushed up toward my abdomen. A rock came in through my helmet, fractured my right eye orbit, and then I had a double compound open fracture of my right humerus, so now it's a titanium joint. There's one thing I did a lot when I was in the hospital, and that was visualizing. And over again, I was just visualizing getting back to flying. And that's part of what motivated me to walk again. Less than a year after that accident, I took my first flight. I just got rid of my cane a few months ago in October, at the same time I got this brace. It's pretty much the highlight of my life. It's called the IDEO device. It's designed to capitalize on the areas I do have control over and help the other ones function like they used to. I still have the job title smoke jumper. I'm just on light duty, and I don't think smoke jumping and taking on the impact is something that this body would be up for at this point. This fire season might be my last with them. If I pass the PAC test, then I'll be red carded, and that means I can go back out on wildfires. And I can use some of my other qualifications to help out the fire community. There's only one set of parameters. That's 45 minutes to hike 3 miles with 45 pounds on your back. The closest I've gotten to is 51:40. If I don't get red carded this year, it's going to be hard to justify maintaining my job as a firefighter. I can't be on light duty for a 3rd year. So most of my right leg is paralyzed. The only real muscle group I have much control over is my quad. So when I lift my left foot forward, it's pretty much a leap of faith. Every step I take, I drive my knee into this brace.
Okay, guys, 3 miles, 45 minutes. Go, Lane. Come on, Lane. 22:43. Yeah, but let's go. Let's go. We gotta make up time now. 20 seconds. We gotta make that. It's time now. You gotta be fast. You gotta do this. You gotta do this. Come on. They're talking to you. Look at them. Come on, Lane. 1 minute. Let's go. Come on, Lane. It's right there. Come on, Lane. Come on, Lane. Let's go. That's it. Ah! Ah! Right. Right.
I missed it by about 1 minute and 22 seconds. So I never got qualified for arduous duty. I'm gonna have to resign my position at the jump base. I'll additionally be done with the Forest Service. And now I've really had to come to terms with the fact that my nerves throughout my right leg just might not regenerate. Even though my accident has majorly changed my life, I'm not really able to jump and all these other things I once took for granted. But I can do one thing most people can't. I can fly. When I'm up there flying, I can turn left, I can turn right. It's like nothing's changed. I'm just trying to think of when the skin was disturbed to open the door for an infection. The only time I'm familiar with is when I fell in the street.
My first flight back at the set I wrecked at.
Nicely done.
Can hear Lane in the background.
Yeah, buddy!
Hell yeah!
Yeah!
We didn't actually meet till after both of our accidents, and we just kind of connected and started talking about our experience with the spinal cord injury. And there's not many people that could even begin to describe what you're talking about, what you're feeling with nerve pain and this hardware in your spine. I left the hospital after about 2 months, and I wasn't moving my legs. With an incomplete spinal cord injury like that, everybody's body responds differently. The physical part of it, it's just something you got to deal with, but the hardest part is just getting over the mental stuff. Sure, I could have kept taking the opiates and pain pills, whatever they're giving me, and just sitting in my chair. But I knew in my heart that like that kind of life wasn't for me. You have that amount of passion for something, nothing will stop you from getting where you want to be.
I have this part-time job called Getting Well, which is very time-consuming. I have to do this 3 times a day. It's an antibiotic, and this has certainly forced me to travel into an area I had never planned on visiting, the world of the ill, the world of the impaired, the world of the injured, the world of surviving. It's a pretty daunting world. There are so many different fronts to this recovery. And honestly, surviving just might have been the easiest part.
I have bad days thinking about his life and the way it has changed. I mean, he was on the fast track to retire as a smoke jumper. As his mother, I don't really want him flying anymore, but it's not my choice. It was very important to him that I fly with him that day, even though I didn't want to. I guess I've always heard that it was like one of those daredevil type things, and it's a lot more peaceful and emotional than just the thrill, you know, just the adrenaline. It's not just about adrenaline. It's about the beauty of the experience and the sunless setting and the trees and having a goal.
When I consider the fact that it's been 6 years, I get a little self-conscious and reflect in this way that says, well, what do you have to show? Really, I've just been trying to survive the last 6 years. What I'm doing right now is I create fire training videos that are required training for all wildland firefighters to get red carded every year. And then I work as a paragliding instructor most of the year. You know, I'm paralyzed below the right knee, so I'll get these cuts and not know it, and they'll get infected. So I had one major wound on the top of my foot that took 6 months to heal. And when you have to go to the hospital 3 times a week, it kind of tethers you. I haven't had any major hospitalizations in all of 2018. This year, a lot of it's going to depend on what happens with my right leg. I think there's been a solid case that's been built for considering an amputation. A BKA, as they're calling it, a below-the-knee amputation. The big thing with the BKA is whether or not he can make a socket for me. So that's essentially turning my severed limb into a nice stub. I want to get this done so I can move on, so I can make a new plan with my life.
It's definitely pulsing through here. I don't know if you'd be able to get out.
Today, I had to err on the side of playing it conservative when I wanted to fly. I've been substitute teaching this winter, I'd say about twice a week. On a day like today, I probably should have said, no, I can't sub because I have a doctor's appointment. Instead, I'm trying to do both. I hear of stories, people get a below-the-knee amputation, then they get new infections, and then before they know it, they're cutting above the knee. The quality of life could be more challenging. I could find myself, worst case scenario, in a wheelchair. And so October 18th at the Seattle VA, we're getting it done there. I am moving. I'm going to be a full-time resident of Horseshoe Bend Flight Park. I'm going to be living in a tiny house right there in the landing zone. So it feels really awesome to be able to have something that people want.
Hey girl, it's me calling. I just heard about Justin. I'm so sorry, and I wish I could be there to hug you and be there, emotionally support. I still can't believe it, and I'm just lost in words. I'm just wanting to let you know that I'm here for you.
I'm not one to cry easily, but since he's passed every single day for the past 2 months now, it hasn't stopped. Yeah, it's rough.
This is the impact site from his fall. I was in EMT mode, kept diatic chest compressions for about 20 minutes, and then the flight nurse put her hand on my shoulder and said, "You can stop chest compressions now."
That's what it says, right? Adira?
Yeah, it's Igara, and it's the small, and I got the small medium, and I know Justin got the next size down.
This was just a wing that I've been desperately looking for. To me, it would mean a lot for Lane to fly just because they've gone through a lot together, and not to mention that he was the last person to try to help Justin, you know, so.
Being under this wing, if I were to be in the air with it, there's no doubt, like I would feel Justin.
Mm-hmm.
He was so much to me. He was my boss, he was my buddy. I've never had a friend that close. It's like, now what? Let's see, that's west, that's north, so the winds are kind of right in between. The flight park's been shut down, and that's my primary source of income.
I'll be right down.
What am I going to do vocationally? What's going to happen with my lower right limb? Where am I going to live? Justin's death was traumatic for a lot of us. So Justin had a parachute, and he was bailing out of his paraglider and throwing a parachute, kind of like base jumping off of the bridge or these cliffs. Something wasn't connected, so when he went out of the paraglider, nothing opened overhead. I looked over in time to see the part of his bounce when he came back down the second time. I had that rare opportunity to damn near put my family through that grieving process and come back from it.
It's my first time back since Justin's passing. I feel it was more exciting than the first time I ever flew for some reason.
Oh my God!
Ever since he passed, I don't think I could bring myself to fly anytime soon, really, just because there's like this emptiness, you know, like there's like a little hole missing.
I just had to remind myself that my decisions affect others. And looking at this image, this may well be like one of the first images ever taken of me. It has my mom, she's probably 19 years old, and my twin brother. And I also fly with Justin's ashes, you know, just to keep him with me. Every time you launch, you're flying out into the unknown. You don't know if there's going to be a thermal out there or not. And same thing with this amputation. I just don't know what's on the other side, but I'm going for it.
All right, so for the blood draw, I'm taking it the right arm.
Sure.
Beautiful veins.
I get my aerobic exercise through hiking my paraglider up hills.
You're still paragliding?
Oh yeah, that was my motive to walk again, is to fly. I don't feel any disability when I'm in the air.
Sense of freedom while you're up there?
Total freedom. I'll figure out how to fly, whatever it takes. As long as I'm conscious and can control any part of my body, I will get back in the air.
His focus is on lifestyle, mobility, and yet for us, we tried to keep that tissue alive. It just seems destructive for what we work so hard to save. You'd call and you'd say, Mom, I found a scar here. What's that from? What's that one from? And this was a deep old scrape that they didn't even worry about because the rest of it was...
There are bigger priorities.
Yeah. So we were told about 4 hours, hopefully anytime soon. It's going to be interesting to walk in and see his leg missing, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, so.
As soon as I had the strength, Mom, I'm like, oh, it's 3:30. I went under anesthesia around 1, and I tossed the covers off. I'm like, oh, it's gone.
Oh, Lane, Hey, we support whatever you do. We have to trust you.
Thanks, Mom.
Yep, gotta trust you. I hope it gives him that mobility that he's hoping for and that release from pain. He's my hero. He really is.
Now that I have my right leg amputated, I am overtly disabled. I think it just makes other people uncomfortable because I think it smacks people in the face with the frailty of the human condition.
So no changes yesterday before and after wearing it?
Beyond the blister, I feel as though the bone was bruised by just all those reps I was doing with leg extensions. So it's super tender. The only place we found redness, you can see it right now. I don't know what bone head that is. We found the cause of the pain. I thought I had this bony prominence that was just really rubbing hardcore on the socket, and it hurt. They pulled up my x-rays and saw that I had some hardware I didn't even know I have. What I thought was a bone is the tip of a screw. So the screw is still in there, but I'm walking. This is the longest I've gone in the last 5 years without flying. Like nothing's changed. Sky's still there. But more than anything, it just felt great to leave the ground, to just feel my weight get transferred into this glider and just go skyward. Justin's wing is the wing for today.
When I saw Lane pulling it out, I just saw Justin, so it brought some happiness back. But yeah, so now Lane is flying it, and it's a perfect size for him.
He'd be so thrilled to know that I'm using his wing, and I'm doing better because of it, because it's a better fit for me. And then also in this personal meaning of just having my bro lift me. think about Justin a lot. He laughed and smiled more than anyone I've ever met. So I'm determined to do more of that with my life.
I do find comfort being around all these pilots. Hearing about him, it's like knowing that people hasn't forgotten. It's still been tough. And it's gonna be for a while. I'm not sure for how long, but I'll be all right.
This virus they're calling COVID-19 has forced some of the greatest lockdown measures. Because we're moving the hardware from my knees, not a life-threatening sort of thing, my surgery's been canceled. And I don't know when it's going to happen again. There's something about coming back here that makes me feel like I can go back to that moment and rewrite it. Deciding to amputate was one of the best decisions I've ever made. If you stay within your comfort zone, you're going to miss out on what's out there. I fly for the sensation and the freedom and the endless, boundless opportunities that are out there. It's a big world when you're up high. I am so grateful that I have the opportunity to have a second life.